Yo, what's going on? So recently I heard about Joe Rogan's opinion or stance on people not having children. I don't know his exact age, but apparently he's in his 50s, and so is his wife or girlfriend or whatever. I found it kind of disturbing, actually, for a specific reason. And it's because he's a really influential guy. I wouldn't necessarily say powerful. Like, he doesn't come across as like the type to buy an entire store franchise just to wreck it into the ground like Elon Musk or something. But he is influential. He has a lot of fans, a lot of movies, probably a lot of money. It's actually almost sad, actually. The the amount of resources he has and has had in his life, and opts into the narrative that he can't handle adulthood, or not adulthood, parenthood. That for some reason suddenly having children would ruin his entire life. It's actually, it seems to me that it's a bit disconnected from reality. I don't know if he's even ever experienced hardship beyond his career. I don't know the guy that well. I'm not his best friend or anything. But he is, I think it's fair to say he is fairly well off. I don't, like I said, I don't know the guy, but I doubt he has that many problems, especially in the realm of being able to provide for a child. That being said, I don't know how mentally equipped a 50-year-old pothead would be for raising children either. So the main reason I have a problem with him, the main reason I have a problem with him is because of his overall stance towards other people not having children. And he seems comfortable sharing the message that if you don't want to ruin your happy life, basically, then don't have children, because that's what they're going to do, is they're going to ruin your life. And of course, not every single person in the world is equipped to handle raising children. I would argue Seth Rogan is among them. But I don't think that relying on that argument is justification for never having children. If nothing else, you could become the person who would take care of the child that they're having. In fact, that's exactly what I've been doing for the last 10 years. Not just financially. I've just begun my financial journey. I'm 30 years old, and I'm just beginning to expand on my financial life. But for the last 10 years, more really, I've been growing into the kind of person who would become a good dad emotionally, mentally, physically. Um, Joe Rogan may have a lot of money, but I'm not certain the fidelity of his maturity actually is. Despite being 50 years old, he spent a lot of his time acting, pretending to be somebody else. Even in movies where he's pretending to be himself, he's still acting. It's not like it's 100% him. It's just him putting himself in the shoes of somebody who would be him in that situation. It's I don't know. So he spent a lot of time not even exploring who he actually is. He's explored who he isn't or who he wants to be. And getting paid for it, nonetheless. Probably getting praised. Of course, being adorned by fans. I don't think he ever grew into the kind of person who would become a good dad. Especially with him just completely indulging in his hedonism as he um, I don't know the word I want to use. As he expresses, I suppose, is what I'll stick with. I don't know. I just feel like the main thing really is that people like him let their egos do the talking. I don't hear anything from the heart when I heard him talking about having kids and shit. There's no way a 50-year-old successful, quote unquote successful actor would be happy that he can have all of these pleasures in life, but somehow he sells himself short to feel equipped to raise a child. I mean, at the very least, he could adopt, right? He doesn't even have to. I mean, that's a whole other discussion, but nevertheless, it's not even about being able to have the kid because you could just adopt one. And it doesn't even seem like that's something he's willing to consider doing. He values his life of hedonism so much that even at 50 years old, it doesn't get old. It doesn't get tiring. He doesn't just some one day snap out of it. Like he's completely engulfed in the spiral that is pleasure to the point where he doesn't value having offspring. At least that's according to his narrative. Uh, Forget about how he actually feels because I don't think anybody's going to know that. Even his wife, I doubt his wife knows his actual feelings. So, again, just to bring it back to the center of my argument, people like him, they have a large influence, but it's like they don't actually really know what they're talking about. They pretend to because they've been raised to act like they know what they're talking about. Joe Rogan's a good actor for what he's done, I guess. He's good at pretending to be a pothead. Honestly, that's most of his movies that I've seen. He's a pothead, he's a Jew. He literally has a movie about becoming a father, which is actually kind of fucking weird. Actually, that's one of his best movies. That's one of his best movies is him becoming a father. I don't know his life. Maybe he has a child secretly or some shit. I really don't. But maybe that's why. Maybe that's fucking why he made that movie. Because I know a lot of his movies are like in a maybe not a cult, but like a friend group of I don't know producers and actors and shit. It seems very culty in an honest light, I guess. But it is weird how he has a movie about having a kid and be like, "Holy fucking shit, this is so exciting and scary and shit," and he's acting. I don't like I said I don't know his personal life, but it's just so sadly phony. It's kind of disturbingly phony in a way. And yeah, people like that, they take their voices too seriously because they were raised to take what they say and do seriously. They get paid for it to the point where they start confusing real life and real life people. with their own endorsed egos. I think that's why Jim Carrey felt like he wasn't himself the whole time. He was paid to be somebody else over and over and over again. And he was good at it. He's a fucking good actor, but he never really felt like himself. And I get that. Especially in a setting like the Hollywood produces. Being yourself isn't necessarily rewarded. It's who you present yourself to be. And that's all it really is. And when Joe Rogan, he's been coming out about all this fucking shit. Like the last video I saw, he's endorsing weed. And he's like rolling a blunt and some shit. And it's like, you see the movies of it. But you're like, is this really what this guy does? He just rolls blunts all day and imagines scenarios that he's not actually in his reality? Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. I think it's fucked up. And I think Seth Rogen needs therapy, honestly. I think he would benefit from having therapy, potentially alone or maybe with his wife. I don't think he's speaking from the heart at all when he makes those videos, especially because he's high. I mean, that's the point of smoking weed, right? You don't want to deal with your feelings and reality and all this other fucking shit. At the very least, you're numbing yourself. At worst, you're living in a fantasy on top of the fantasy that you're living in. It's actually sad, the amount of success that Joe Rogan has and the blatant lack of self-esteem he feels towards being able to raise a child within that success. You'd think if you had $1 million that having a child would be easy, or at least not a burden. But apparently, to people like Joe Rogan, having $1 million and smoking weed is more important than having children. So far to the fact that you would be sacrificing that stuff in order to raise a child or have a child. I don't know. I don't know the guy like personally. I just see what I see, and his voice, it matters because he's so influential, and the shit that he says despite it is fucked up. It's really fucked up. Like, he has kids, vulnerable teenagers, young adults, and people in his age group all watching him. And then when you hear the things that he actually endorses in real life, not a joke, not a movie, not a script, at least that's the spotlight, I don't know the right word. That's the setting that he's putting on when he makes those videos, is that it's real. It's fucked up. So, anyway, I guess that's all I have to say. I probably could say more, but I don't think I need to. I think people get the point. So, anyway, later.